Good morning, one and all. This is Jayanthi, Assistant Professor of History, Department of History from DKL College. I am going to teach the history of Europe from 1789 to 1914. In that, first we are going to discuss about French Revolution. French Revolution happened in the year 1789. It started in the year 1789, but it ended in the year, that is 1799. It took place for nearly 10 years. So it is an important revolution because through this revolution only, that revolutionary words, that is some of the terms like liberty, equality and fraternity that spread in the world. These words even inspired the neighboring countries of France to fight against the old regime of the Europe, especially that is particularly in France. This revolution, from the title you could understand that it happened in France only. That's why it is called French Revolution. Otherwise we can also call it Revolution of 1789. So there were many causes for the revolution. These were the words I already told. These were the terms which became famous in the world through this revolution only. These were the words liberty, equality and fraternity. These were the words which became familiar not only in Europe, even in the world. This inspired the people in Europe and also in the world to fight against the old regime, that is monarchical rule. Now let us discuss the causes. Now let us discuss the causes for the French Revolution. First cause is a social cause. There were many causes. We can say there were many causes for the revolution. First cause is the social cause. Second is a political cause. Third is a economic cause. And fourth is a intellectual cause. And some other cause also we can say that were American independence, War of Independence, otherwise American Revolution, and also 7 Years' War. All these causes led to the breakout of the French Revolution. We see one by one all these causes. First, I explain what are the social causes. In France, the society was divided into three divisions. Divisions were first estate, second is called second estate, third division is a third estate. First estate belonged to the clergy. In first estate belongs clergy. They were the religious head, and in clergy, what are the category comes under bishops or bishops like that. Really from Christianity, who are the head of the religion, they were comes under the clergy. And the second is the nobility, that noble family members, and that warriors, military warriors, all those comes under the second category. And third is the common people, and otherwise called that is bourgeois, otherwise. It consists of middle class people and artisans, peasants, manufacturers and producers. All these category people comes under the third estate. And so the first one, how it led to the how it played an important role for the cause of the French for the breakout of the French Revolution, because the first two category I explained in detail how it played one of the important role for the French Revolution. From this slide you can understand the differences among the inequalities that prevailed in the society among these three categories. First category, that is the first estate. In that I already told you comes the clergy and all coming under the first estate. The clergy, Catholic Church, bishops and parish priests are coming under the first estate, and they composed of only 1% of the society, and whereas the second estate, nobles, they composed of 2% of the total population, whereas the third, common people, that is 97% of the people of the society comes from this category. For example, I already told you, artisans, workers, that is city workers, that is laborers, manufacturers, and peasants. All those comes under the third category. See here in the exemptions. First and second category people exempted from the taxes, and they no need to pay any taxes. They were exempted, and not only that, they even enjoyed some of the privileges, and they also given some of the responsibilities also, and some power. That powers were one by one. That first category collector chit. This is the tax paid by the common people, that is commoners or middle class. They had to pay this chit to the first estate people, that is clergy. And not only that, the censorship of the press also controlled by the clergy, and they even control the education, and they even control the they also maintain the records of birth, death, marriages, and they hold a Catholic faith. So by that faith they were honored by the people, and some other but they no need to pay any taxes, as they were exempted from the taxes. But that this third estate people had to pay the that is still tax to the clergy. But this first estate, they won't pay any tax. The second category is the nobles. They, I already told you, they composed of only 2% of the society, but they also exempted from the taxes. And this common people, they paid the feudal dues to the second estate people, to the nobles. That is called feudal dues, and military and some other military officials, that appointing the military officials. All these all these done by the second estate nobles, and they even possessed land. See here, the first and the second category people, they possessed 20% of the land, and the third category, they did not have any property, no land, but they paid these type of the taxes. See, many taxes they have paid. First tax to the church, that is church tax, otherwise called chit, and auction is the tax fixed on the goods brought into the cities, and copies was the forced road tax, and third is the poll tax and big time tax, that is called income tax, and gabble and salt tax, and child is the land tax. These were the taxes they paid. Just compare your first and second estate, no taxes. Whereas the third category, see how many taxes they paid. So that in that way, if there was a inequality prevailed in the front society, all these made the people to protest against the monarchy, autocratic way that the king behaved. So he failed to look after the welfare of the people. During that time, who was the king in France at the time was Louis XVI. He failed to look after the welfare of the people. This much burden that the third class people had, and they suffered a lot. During this 1789, there was a severe famine, so the production also less, land yielding is less, but how can they feed 3 meals in a day? So it is very difficult even to get one meal, that is they used to eat bread. So that also, for getting bread, they have to stand in a long queue. So after sometimes they could not even, after standing in the queue for a long time, they could not, they went home without food. So in that way, the people suffered a lot. So that this inequality was one of the main reason that for the broke out of the French Revolution. Next reason we can say political cause. Political cause. During the time of French Revolution, I said already that who was the French ruler, Louis XVI. And that king in France, they had one belief, that means that they were given power by God. They thought they were the representative sent by God, and they thought they can do anything, and whatever they do, that will become whatever they say, whatever they order, it will become a law. So they thought whatever they do, they said it will become a law, but they thought if they do anything, they could not do any wrong. Whatever they do, they thought whatever they order, they thought it won't affect the people, but not like that. Unknowingly, they suppress the people by their behavior. Because mainly the Louis XVI, he failed to look after the welfare of the people, and first of all, he was incapable, and he always acted by the advice of her wife. She was an Austrian woman, and Austria was actually enemy of France, so that she lived a luxurious life. She also expected to lead a luxurious life even in France. She spent lavishly, and usually the French officials, that is king and the queen and other officials, they had to live in office. That office was located in the Paris. That is head of the France. That is French capital is Paris. Usually the administration should be run in the capital only. But instead of that, instead of staying here, they lived in the royal palace, which was located 20 kilometers away from Paris. That is called Versailles Palace. That city was located 12 kilometers away from Paris. That is called Versailles. There was one palace. That palace was called Palace of Versailles, otherwise called Hall of Mirror. This is the palace. The French royalty, they used to live stay in the royal residence. This is called a Versailles Palace, otherwise Hall of Mirror. So they spent lavishly, they enjoyed a luxurious life, then they forgot to look after the welfare of the people, and all this led to the weak administration and corruption in the government. And from the during the French, when the revolution was going on, people forced them to come back to Paris. In Paris, they shifted, the king and queen were shifted to this Tuileries Palace, which was in Paris. And third cause is the economic cause. I already explained in the social causes itself how the people suffered by paying many taxes. The first tax, that is tithe, octroi, corvée, capitation, wing time, cabal, jail, and feudal dues for the feudal lords. These were the taxes they paid for the government. So excessive taxation and tax burden fell on the estate, third estate, the peasants. So it played an important role. One of the reasons and played an important role for the French Revolution. And another one we can say that intellectual cause. From the intellectual cause, that is 1789 was age of enlightenment in France. During that time, there were many political thoughts and ideas were erupted in the society, and many political thinkers and political philosophers and many secular writers emerged, and these people people, through the writing, they spread the idea of a new political ideology and the inequalities, and they even spread the idea of democracy, republic, and what is liberties, what is inequality. All this they wrote nicely and clearly to motivate and to aware the people. By reading all that, people of France got motivated, and thereby they understood what is old regime. So they hated old regime and they wanted a republican form of government, and thereby so they started a revolt against the king. So these were the intellectuals. First one, John Locke. He also advocated civil liberties and also the equalities. By his thoughts, these two other philosophers were inspired. Okay, and third, this Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he was also a great philosopher and political thinker. Mainly his works like social contract and discourses of inequalities. These two books were very famous of him, and these urged the people to fight against the old regime. Old regime, what it means that monarchs were given divine power to legislate, to pass law. And Montesquieu, he also emphasized the civil liberties, and he spoke inequalities of the inequalities prevailed in the Christianity. So these were that's all about the causes. And the second one is the cause of the French Revolution. So far we saw the causes for the French Revolution. Next is the cause of the French Revolution. These were the events happened during the course of the French Revolution: the National Assembly, Legislative Assembly, Convention, Directive. These were the 4 phases of the course of the French Revolution, and we will see about this in the next video lecture. Okay, and these are the new terms from this topic: absolute monarchy. Absolute monarchy means monarch, that is king, used to act autocratically. That means no limited power for him. Whatever he thinks, he will do. Whatever he orders, it will become a law. In that way, he ruled. And then bourgeois means middle class people, and estate general. It is the national assembly, like that French assembly. Estate general, otherwise called state general. It works like a parliament. It consists of the representatives, elected representative from 3 categories: the first, second, and third categories of the society. Already told 3 estates. From 3 estates, representatives were elected and placed in the French assembly. It works like a legislature. It usually give a solution for any financial problem which arise in Europe. During that time only, this French assembly would be convened by the Louis king. This time, already told that due to the extravagant expenses and also due to the by the king and the queen, that bankruptcy, that financial condition decreased. It led to the bankrupt of the financial condition, so that king convened this estate general to find a solution to solve the financial problem, but they could not come to one solution. There was some deadlock, so that the third estate people, they went out of the assembly, and thereby they formed a separate assembly. That assembly was called National Assembly. That we will see in detail in another video lecture. Next is the Republic. You know all that Republic is a government in which people elect the representatives who will create the laws and rule on their behalf. That means people, they themselves will govern, and they will elect the people among themselves, and thereby they will govern on their behalf. So people's rule is called the republic. And I told already events and all. Then impact. Next we see the impact. What are the impact of the French Revolution? French Revolution led to the end of absolute monarchy, that is monarchical government came to an end, and written constitution started to develop, and this French Revolution introduced the citizen right. First time in the world, citizens' rights were declared by the impact of the French Revolution. Then many administrative reforms were introduced, and the reorganization of judicial system, and many reforms were introduced in the judicial system also. And previously, royal families ruled. During the time of French Revolution, the bourgeois, that is educated middle class, they got the chance to govern. That was the main important impact of the French Revolution. So next one, and even the education literature also reformed. Many economic development were introduced. Many economic development were introduced in France. That's all the French Revolution. Thank you.